Hello everyone. Boy, is it good to see you all today. Good strong nails. I do not have them. My nails are thin. They bend quite easily. My birth mother did not take care of herself, nor me. I didn't actually eat properly until I was 11 months old. At that time, I was taken away from the family that had me and then moved on to the family that I spent the rest of my life with. Why do I bring that up? Well, because things like our nails and our bones, oftentimes the DNA of those, the basis for their strength or weaknesses are determined by the health of our parents, of course their DNA, and also how our early development begins, how we're treated, or fed, or lack of feeding. And sometimes it's just nature, it's just a fluke. But anyway, I don't have very strong nails. But what I do have are very strong cuticle beds. They're a little red now because I've been massaging them actually just before this video. But they're not peeling. They're holding down my nails pretty well. I don't have the tears, which you can get from a lot of different ways. But generally, if your cuticle is not strong, you will get tears, no matter whether you have thin nails like I do or very thick, healthy nails. So what I do, and I've done a lot of research on this, I will tell you that some things I take for granted because my mother taught me certain things, or things that I have read in a bazillion books. If you ever see my bookshelf, I have dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of books on botany and on herbalism. And well, anyway, where am I going with all of this? My research has led me to a list of 4 ingredients that are easily come by pretty much anyone, including you, that you can make yourself. There are a lot of fancy things, and there's some very simplistic things that you can make a cuticle cream or cuticle butter or whatever the terminology is given. In this example, I'm going to show you one that has enough benefits individually to benefit you, but together is a powerhouse. If it can work on this old man's weak nails and give me strong cuticles, then I believe that it can be beneficial to you as well. So what's in it? You may have just seen the video where I took my big block of beeswax and turned it into these baby blocks. So yes, it's going to have beeswax. Cocoa butter, not mango butter, not kokum butter, not shea butter. For this purpose, for the cuticle skin, and the cuticle skin is that small thin layer of skin that connects your nail to the skin of your finger. So it's just a very thin, almost clear skin right there on top. That's your cuticle. Cocoa butter has some emollient and some humectant qualities along with some of these other ingredients. It is the combination of all 5 of these things that I believe, from what I have read, do the most good for you for various different reasons. But this will draw moisture to the cuticle, keeping it from drying out and cracking and peeling. It'll help in that area. Castor oil. Castor oil is full of beneficial vitamins and nutrients that can help build the strength of that cuticle, of that skin, by, it's not that it rebuilds it, but what it does, it allows it to grow without any kind of deterrents, such as, because it helps prevent tears or breakage or cracking of that cuticle, which can cause it to stop growing, cause the tearing and the pain that we all sometimes get on occasion. And this is hemp seed oil. This is an organic raw hemp seed oil. Smells great, I think. The hemp seed oil, again, has beneficial nutrients and some micronutrients in it as well that help feed the nail bed as well and the nails, so they can actually be beneficial to the nail itself and filling in little cracks and nooks under just at the cuticle that can cause some of that tearing and things. The honey is, of course, an antibacterial. It will help prevent fungus growth. Now, if you have a chronic condition, of course, always talk to your doctor first about, natural products and explain to them what you're doing and so that you can get their feedback. This is Manuka Honey. You've seen me use it and everything. I love Manuka Honey. I use it by the gallons. This is a small container that I refill. It's really nice for just small little recipes like this. And the honey will act as an antibacterial, preventing fungus growth on your nails, like for people that wear stick-on nails, artificial nails, can oftentimes get fungal infections of the nail. And this is something that can really help in that regard. So really, this is just a matter of combining all these ingredients together. I've got a double boiler here going. Well, it's not really a double boiler. It's a little mini crock pot. And then I have a little silicone. This is made for big pots and pans for making a home double boiler. But it works just as well here. All it's doing is separating the glass from the base where the heat is. And what I'm going to do is just slowly melt these things over the slow heat, so that we can start putting this together. Again, one of my favorite recipes. I like small, simple things like this. I find it much easier to explain it, but also I think some of the best things are the most simple things. So I'm going to get these on the heat and we're going to get this put together. So I'm first going to add in my liquid oils, my wonderful fragrant hemp oil, our castor oil, this nice thick viscous stuff. This is really great. It really holds on to the nail bed and moisture. What I like is putting this stuff on and then putting on some light cotton gloves. And you can purchase these kind of things on Amazon or in the grocery store, or some grocery stores. But you can get them at hardware stores like Lowe's, Menards, Home Depot, whatever you have in your area. Many places have these, like in their paint department. Here, I'll show you a pair of them. Just a very simple cotton glove. And as a matter of fact, I include a pair of these gloves with every order of this. Okay, I'm going to drop in the cocoa butter and the beeswax, just like that. Because this is very slow heat, I'm just going to let it sit here and slowly melt over time. And then we're going to take it off the heat. Then I'll show you how I add in honey so that it remains suspended in our cuticle cream before we put it in the jar. But I'll explain more about that when we come back. So now we're just going to let this do some melting. All right, we're now back for our honey. Now, the honey is going to just sink to the bottom no matter how much I blend it. Because, and I put quite a bit in here for this, because what this is for is your nails. I like it to be good and sticky. That's right, sticky. Because you're using a very tiny amount anyway. And I suggest you leave it on your nails overnight. And then you just wash your hands the next day, or you could take it off with a cloth, a damp cloth, whatever works for you. Now, like I said, it's not going to incorporate into the oils. All I'm doing is kind of breaking it up because Manuka honey is so very thick. I wanted to put it in the warm oils just to get it softened up. And it's just going to sit there at the bottom. But as our oils, our butters, and our beeswax begins to set up and solidify, we can then remix with something simple like this, just a spoon. And what will happen is the honey will be suspended in the oils, butters, and wax so that it'll be still slightly pourable, maybe dippable, but easy to put into our containers. And even if it's not easy, it's well worth it to make sure that these are well incorporated. So it is already thickening up, and that's because of the cold honey, which is great. That's actually very good. That's causing it to start to thicken up here. And that way, see, the honey is not just in clots at the bottom. It is mixed in with the oils and wax as it gets thicker. Do you see that? No big old clots of honey, which we don't want. But I'm going to let it sit for just a minute here before we put it into our container. Okay, so I actually let it get a little thicker than I meant to, but that's okay actually. I mean, our honey is well suspended in here. We don't have any clumps on the bottom, as you can see. It's nice and just clean. So now I'm just going to, I think I'll be just able to just, it's still pourable. All right, so we've now got our lovely, what I'm calling Buzzy Cream right now. I just couldn't come up with a name for it. So I'm just calling it Buzzy Cream because it's got the honey, it's got the beeswax, I don't know. It was just a thought. All right, so that's the label. Oops, sorry. Buzzy Cream. This one's mine, and this is very hard. That's intentional, as I stated earlier, because you don't need much. Just enough where you can see it gloss on your finger, and just massage it into the cuticle. I like to get it underneath the cuticle a bit. You'll also notice it adds kind of a gloss to the nail too. And that's really all there is to it. I go through like this every day. I generally do this before going to bed. Now, I don't wear the gloves, but if you have a manicure, if you have nails, whether they're your own or glue-on, I would suggest gloves, because it will just help to, it takes time for that to, if you've got an artificial nail up to your cuticle, it may take a little longer, and I would put even more on there and then wear the gloves so that it also keeps your hand warm, and it'll cause it to sink in a little better under the cuticle when you've got a nail there. And that's really it. I mean, this is not complicated. This will last you a year. I have one that I've used over a year and a half, and there's still some left in it, because this is all it's for. Something very light. But that's it. I'm a fan of it. And I don't have pretty hands like I'm sure many of you do. But so I may not be the best model for it, but I'm all I've got. So I hope you enjoyed this, everyone. This is so simple to make. Make your own, or I, of course, will have it in the store for purchase. The Buzzy Cream. There you go. And it's really a great little product. I have found it very successful at keeping the tears down. Now, you're going to get injuries every day if you do things like I was trying to pry something off one day and scraped up my nail. But I just mean from bad cuticles, I don't have that problem. And you won't either, because this is all you have to do. I do suggest you wash your hands before doing something like this to soften the cuticle in your hand. You know, a good washing maybe with some Kind and Clean from Soapy Oaks Farm, or your own, whatever you have. But yeah, wash your hands, clean them very well before applying it. All right, I hope you enjoyed this, everyone. Have a terrific day, and I'll see you back soon. Goodbye.